Hey guys, so I'm going to do my best to put together a tutorial, but it's going to be over several videos. I just have to say, when it comes to painting on camera, it's not that easy because the camera catches my hand a lot, so I do apologize, but I'm trying my best to help you all out. So something that's not in this video, which is my first step, is I varnish my dolls. So before I do anything, I put a layer of varnish on those babies and then I get to work. This is the color that I use for my veins, Phthalo Blue. Not really sure how you say it. I've already got some veins done there. As for patterns, really, I kind of just look at the doll's face and judge it there and just draw my lines. A frequently asked question is, how do I know where to put veins? Honestly, I don't know. I just do what looks good in my mind and just start putting it on the doll, really. So after the varnish, like I said, I start off with varnish. Then my next step is doing the veins. And so I do veins on the head. I typically start with the head. I don't know why. That's my process. So when you're getting the paint, you want to make sure to get as much thinner off of the paint. So by dabbing it, pressing your paintbrush on the side of your painting container, because you want little thinner, more paint, but the paint, your mix is more thinner, less paint. It's a whole consistency thing that takes time to get down over the years. And then you just dab it off with the sponge, as you just saw. And sometimes I have to re-go over veins because it didn't take like the correct darkness. But it's to each their own on what they're looking for. I tend to have my veins a little darker because they are the very first layer. So I'm going to be doing a lot of work on top of that, and the last thing I want to do is go back and redo my veins, because personally I feel like when I add my veins on top of my work, it just doesn't look right. So I'm going to give you guys an example of how to do the hand. Again, it's just kind of what you see visually. I like to change it up throughout dolls. I don't try to stick to one same pattern. We all don't have a same pattern, so it's just whatever works with the doll. That's how I do it. There is no right or wrong way. It's to each their own. It's art. Art is a creative thing. So, do whatever works for you. I don't typically do voiceovers, but it was much easier for when I was painting. While I'm doing the veins, I will put a little bit of blue in the hand. As you see right here, I'm putting some blue in there. And I like to let the veins set for a moment before I go and dab them off. So I'll do front side, then I'll do back side, then I'll clean it up, and then I will work the top of the arm with veins. So I put veins on top and on bottom. Sometimes I'll put a vein underneath the arm. Sometimes I won't put it in the underarm. Sometimes I won't put it on the front of the top arm, and I'll just put it underneath the arm. Honestly, again, it's to whatever you feel is best for the doll. I don't like to have both the limbs, though, looking the same. To me, that's just not realistic. So I keep two different patterns on the limbs. I just find that it is more realistic this way. And then I'm going to show you guys how to do, this is just a basic pattern that I do for the feet. And again, it always changes. I like to bring the vein back behind the ankle bone. You want to think about areas of your body. Look at your body, actually, to kind of see where you might see veins. Look at photos of babies. That helps some people. I don't paint with photos. I paint solely 100% from my brain. I cannot paint by looking at photos. I can if I'm making a replica of somebody's baby, as a special request. But I personally just like to paint 100% from my mind. That's why I don't really do custom work, because it's hard to direct one's mind when you're working with the kit. And again, you'll just gently dab them off. And then we're going to put them on the other side of the foot. And yeah, it's just whatever looks good for you. And then I also do the blue in the sole of the foot. For many years, I didn't do that blue there. I recently just started doing that the last couple of years again. So as an artist, I change up my style all the time. And I recommend that as an artist, you change up your style all the time too. Find different ways to paint. Don't get stagnant in one paint. Nothing more bothersome to me is to see somebody painting the same way 15 years ago. I like variety in artwork. That's just my opinion. But, and we're all entitled to that. So you know, I recommend, you know, painting 20 babies one way and just changing it up. Maybe you're adding an extra layer of mottling that you didn't do on the last set of dolls, or you're doing some extra washes. Just experiment with your stuff. Honestly, I think the best way to excel at your work is to just become one with the doll kit, and don't always be like, it has to look this way. Let the doll kit guide you. And that's honestly how I find my best work, and that's maybe why my work is always changing. So here again, I'm just putting in the blue right there. Just, you know, no rhyme or reason, but that's where I like to put it. I think it looks very natural, and then I'll just clean it up because later I'm going to go blushing on top of that. So now I'm going to show you guys both the limbs because, like I said, I only did this for one. The veins are kind of hard to see, but in person it's much easier to see. Then there's the arms, and here's the head now that it's got its veins all around it. And that pattern always changes as well. Just have fun with it is what I say. Here comes the mottling. These are the 3 colors I use. You know what? This is the color it makes. So just dab a little out of each jar until you find a mottling color that you like. Again, that coloring is to each their own. I use cosmetic wedge sponges, and I pluck that out with a eyebrow tweezer thingy. And so you want to make sure to get an even coat everywhere. So like I'll coat it top and bottom, like so. And then you're going to pounce it on the doll, and you're only going to do it in small sections. Sometimes though, the sponge can carry you for the whole limb. Just pay attention to the consistency. You want an even consistency. You're going to do this multiple times. So try to make sure each time you do it, you do different direction with your sponge. So this time we're going to go just one direction with my sponge. And then the next time I do, it'll be a different direction. And see how I get all the thinner off? You want as little thinner going on that sponge. You don't want your sponge being sopping wet because you're going to have a mess. So as you can see, it's just a little wet on the doll kit. You're able to still see the mottling, and that's what you want to see. When you have too much thinner on your sponge, it just is going to glob out. And that's a really nice first layer, and it's very light, but not too light. And you're going to do the same thing with the hands. And I model all done on the fingers. I don't do anything on the palms because my palm work is my blushing work. And that's just what works for me. Again, to each their own. But pay attention to how, like, see, my sponge isn't pulling me all the way through because it's getting lighter. So you got to pay attention to what you're applying. As you see your consistency not being even with what you started with, you want to add more paint. Here on this leg, I think it was this leg. Yep, it was a little too dark, so I just took my sponge and lightened it up a little bit and then carried forward. And here I was like, I'm probably not going to need to add more paint because I have a little bit of paint, which is fine. All you need to worry about is just paying attention to the consistency and making sure that you're getting an even layer of paint. That's just how I do it. I like to keep my limbs, I like to keep it all pretty even. And now we're on to layer number 2. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It's hard to see, but that is 2 layers of mottling. Look at that. It's coming along. Wow, so much life already. There's an arm. You can see it's layer number 2. And then we're going into layer number 3. And there's a bit difference here. After layer number 3 is when you will do the baking. I don't bake in between any of these layers. I do 3 layers and then I toss that baby in the oven. Look at that. Look at how nice that leg looks. This baby is so adorable. Super cute. So I hope that has helped you guys a little bit. Welcome to session number 1 of the tutorial. Look at those boxes. That is from Carol Harmon and Tamorial. Thank you so much. I do plan to go live to open those. But yeah, so I hope you guys like that. I hope it was helpful, and I will be doing the next part soon. So stay tuned for part 2. Remember to be active with this channel. That means liking the video, commenting. That way YouTube pushes my content towards you. They like you to be interactive with us creators. Make sure to turn on notifications so when I release number 2, you don't miss a video. Notifications, I mean, click that little bell because it's really good for you guys to do that. And that way, when I have a video up, you get a notification from YouTube. You're supposed to. And if you register your email with the website, we also send out emails letting you guys know we have a new video available, so you never miss anything from us. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to stay safe, stay positive, and we'll be back soon. Bye. Psych, I'm back. I'm going to be sharing photos right now from Dress Up Thursday. So thank you to everybody who has been participating in that. Now enjoy the photos.